Total Card Player Sin, I'm Total Card Player Trick, and today I'll be your host. Today we are going over Marchand's Niv-Mizzet Parun Commander deck profile. Now, Niv-Mizzet Parun is the best Niv-Mizzet commander there is, and is one of the best Izzet commanders there are. So, Niv-Mizzet Parun is ranked number 13 on EDH Rec out of all commanders, and trust me, there are tons of commanders. Now, anyways, if I'm going to quickly tell you how this is going to go. So, I'm going to explain every card a bit by bit, and we're going to go from creatures all the way down to lands. And I would just give you a count, explain certain synergies, and just go from there. So, starting off with Niv-Mizzet Parun, he costs 3 blue and 3 red. So, it is costly, so you're going to have to make sure you're smart about your land bases and ramp in here. He cannot be countered. He's a 5/5 legendary creature who's a dragon wizard, which makes sense. He's one of the smartest beings in existence. And then he's a flyer. Whenever you draw a card, Niv-Mizzet Parun deals 1 damage to any target. So this is how the deck is going to work. You're going to draw lots of cards, and you're going to burn your opponent for game, and that is your win condition. Now, whenever a player casts an instant sorcery, which can be anyone on the field, including your opponents, you will draw a card. So your deck is going to be composed of instants and sorceries, and gain benefits of drawing and dealing damage while casting those. So you have things like gutter snipe and stuff like that. So, like I said, your win condition, you're going to burn out your opponents through damage effect by drawing and casting instants and sorceries. So that is it for the commander, and let's get to deck profile. Hope you enjoy. Off, we have Niv-Mizzet Firemind, who costs 2 blue and 2 red. He's a 4/4. And this is another Niv-Mizzet card, same exact character though. And basically he's a flyer, and whenever you draw a card, Niv-Mizzet will deal 1 damage to you. Same as Niv-Mizzet Parun, they'll deal 1 damage to any target of your choice. But what's good about Niv-Mizzet Firemind is that you're allowed to tap him, and then you'll be able to draw a card. So you'll probably burn off his effect, and that's really what you want to use him for. Next, the most overpowered card in the deck when it comes to creatures, or Caney's the Omnipotent, which its name is worth it. So basically, for 3 colorless and 3 blue, you may tap him and draw 3 cards. So if you have a card to give him haste, or just next turn if he stays on the field, you will draw 3 cards, and you could possibly have both of these out on the field. You will be dealing exactly 6 damage all around, or just 3, but the draw power just by tapping this is insane. And I say its mana cost is worth it. His mana cost is basically 2 mana per draw, but that is like the most powerful thing in here. And his second effect states for 2 colorless and 2 blue, return him to your hand. And that is just as powerful, because you can start to recycle him and start to get those draw powers off. Next, we have Nimix Guild. We have Nimix Guild Mage. For Izzet, which is just blue and red, tap a colorless blue and red, draw a card, then discard a card. So its benefit, you're going to draw a card, but you must discard a card, which shouldn't be that bad, because since you have a lot of instants and sorceries, you'll probably discard something with flashback, which is your best bet. And then for 2 colorless, a blue and a red, copy target instant sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. So like I said, you have tons of instants and sorceries. So you can easily just do anything you want with this, and that is powerful. Next, we have Magus of the Wheel. Don't explain this one. For 2 colorless and a red, if you tap a colorless and a red, you can tap him, sacrifice him, each player discards a hand, and then draw 7 cards. So, if you're not like your hand or your hand's small, or you don't have a hand, you can just sack him, draw 7 cards, and discard however many. And really, with your commander out, you'll be dealing 7 damage, and if you have tons of more damage things on your field like that, you'll just be racking up tons of damage, which is why Magus of the Wheel is a extremely powerful card in the deck. Next, we have Azumaya Lady of Scrolls. Whenever you may tap and untap wizard you control and draw a card. It's really easy. If you have some wizards in here, what you do, just tap them, you get to draw a card. You'll deal some damage, so it works out in the end. Then you have Miracle Chemister. For blue, you may tap him and draw 2 cards. So, unlike Arcanis, but he's cheaper by 1, you just have to tap him and you'll draw 2 and pay mana, which isn't bad. And for red, you can tap him, discard a card, deal damage to target creature equal to the discard card's converted mana cost. So you can discard something with high mana that you can't cost right now, or just an instant that you don't want, and just burn out your opponent with some damage right there. And lastly, we have a Crackling Drake and Tandem Lookout. Tandem Lookout is a good soulbound card because whenever another creature deals damage, you are allowed to draw a card off of that, which will start to build up damage. And then Crackling Drake, its power equal to number of instant sorceries in your exile and graveyard. You will have a lot of those in your exile and graveyard because that's what the deck is revolved around. So he should easily be a very big creature. And when it's the battlefield, you draw a card. So that's really it. He's just good for that, and plus he's a powerful Izzet card. So that's really it for your draw power of your creatures. Damaged creatures include Electrostatic Field, use a wall, and whenever you cast an instant sorcery, you may deal 1 damage. Thermal Alchemist, he's also a defender. You can tap him, deal 1 damage to each opponent, which is very nice. And then whenever you cast an instant sorcery, you will untap him. So you're just going to tap him, untap, tap him, untap. That's really what you want to do with him. And then you have Gutter Snipe. You should never not run stuck without Gutter Snipe. Gutter Snipe is the most powerful card in here when it comes to damage, because whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, it will deal 2 damage to each opponent. And then we have a Psychosis Crawler. Its power and toughness will be equal to the number of cards in your hand, and whenever you draw a card, each opponent will lose 1 life. So this is really good because you're going to start drawing tons of cards, which is how you want your deck to work. And then Psychosis Crawler will either go bigger or smaller, but probably constantly getting bigger, reduce like by 1 or 2, and then regrow that probably, because all your instants and sorceries are related to draw. And then you'll just be dealing your opponent out and killing them. So these are your damage creatures for the deck. Onto creatures that assist, we have Goblin Electromancer. Instants and sorceries you cast are cost 1 less to cast. Dungeon, not gonna butcher that. Each instant and sorcery you cast has Replicate, which means the Replicate cost is equal to the mana cost. So basically, when you cast it, if you pay the mana that you paid to cast it, then you'll copy it again, and you'll get new targets for the copy. Then we have Arachnomancer. When you use battlefield, you may return instant sorcery card from graveyard to your hand, which is good because you can start recurring things. Then we have Dragonauts, which is a fairy wizard. Basically, when you cast a sorcery spell, it'll gain +2/+0 until the end of turn. It's a flyer, so you can make it probably pretty big really quickly. Next, we have Cyclops. With Trample, whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, he will get +X/+0 until the end of turn, where X's spells convert mana cost, which can make him a very powerful trampler, and he already has 8 toughness, which means he's big and can take damage if you don't get him anywhere. And lastly, one of the best cards in the deck related to creatures is Izzet Chemister. For 2 in a red, he is a Goblin Wizard, he's a 1/3, he has haste, and you may tap a red and tap him, exile target instant sorcery from a graveyard. Colorless red, tap him, sacrifice him, cast any number of exile cards this way without paying their mana cost. So you can easily pop off in a single turn and kill your opponent just like this. I remember I was using this deck against Urza, and he was in the lead. I was really low, and I caught up really quickly. He was at 40, and in a single turn, without using this, I'm just saying how powerful this deck is, and in a single turn, I was able to get him down to 18 damage, and that was it. So that's insane what this deck can do, and with Izzet Chemister, he will literally just probably give you the game there if you get him off really far, which is possible. Lastly, for the creatures is token creation. We have Young Pyromancer, Murmuring Mystic, and Talrand Sky Summoner. Easy, Drake, Bird, Element, Mian. All your token creation. This is very powerful. You can build up tons of tokens in a single turn, so it's a really nice card to have in the deck. Onto sorceries, we have Charted Course. You draw 2 cards, then discard a card unless you attacked. Then we have Compulsive Research. Target player draws 3 cards, then that player discards 2 cards unless he or she discards a land card, which is actually not that bad if you think about it. It's really cheap, and you don't have to discard 2 cards if you just have a land, which you might possibly top deck, which is highly likely. And then we have Treasure Cruise with Delve. It's the most powerful card in the deck because it's just very powerful. And it draws 3 cards, and with Delve, you can probably cast it for, like, whatever you want. Mainly just cast for blue. It's possible if you want to exile that many. But if you don't, it's just, like, really cheap, and you can probably get it pretty low. Then we have Reunion. As a digital cost, you must discard 2 cards, but you draw 3 cards. So that's really good. You're getting 1 more card in your hand, and it only costs 2, so it's really good. And if you have Niv-Mizzet out, you're also going to be getting an extra card. So you're discarding 2 for 4, so that's a deal worth taking. Tormenting Voice, as an additional cost, discard card, draw 2 cards. Easy, simple, same. Faithless Looting, draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. If you have something pointless, cast it. It's a 1-mana card. That's a sorcery. Easy, benefit, the end. And it has flashback, so there you go. Then we have Deep Analysis. Target player draws 2 cards and has flashback, but you must pay 3 life. But the flashback cost is only 2, and paying 3 life, I think it's pretty worth it because life won't matter that much, really. Wing Words. This spell costs 1 to cast for each creature control flying. There's a lot of flyers in this deck, so it should be at least at cost you 2 or 1. And that's really it. You get to draw 2 cards, so it's worth it. Then we have Divination. You get to draw 2 cards. And lastly, we have Beacon Bolt, just because it's powerful. Because when Beacon Bolt deals damage to target creature equal to a total number of instant sorceries in your graveyard. And it has Jumpstart, which means that you can get rid of some problematic cards. That's really all it does. And it's cheap to cast, so just problematic cards is what it does. Onto instants, we have Opt. You scry 1 and draw 1 for 1. Perfect. Desperate Ravings, discard 2 cards, discard a card at random, and has flashback. Worth it. Then we have Kimster's Insight. You should always run this card in a deck like this as Jumpstart, and you're drawing 2 cards. Thrill of Possibility, discard a card, draw 2 cards. Easy, again. Radical Idea, draw a card, and has Jumpstart. Brainstorm, a powerful card in the deck, draw 3 cards, and play 2 cards from your hand on top of the library in any order. So you can just dump whatever's useless or you can't cast right now into your deck, and you're getting fresh cards off of it, and you're still getting those Niv-Mizzet triggers. So what's going to happen is after you cast it, you can chain it. Niv-Mizzet deals damage after you draw the 3, and then you can chain it where Niv-Mizzet will draw a 4th and deal that 1 damage, and then you can let Brainstorm resolve and then put the things you don't want back on top so you're not just redrawing it. So that's really what you can do. Then we have Into the Royal. Kicker instant, you get to draw a card if it was kicked. Another kicker instant, blink of an eye. Frantic Search, you must always have Frantic Search in a deck like this. And Frantic Search is actually a very powerful blue card because you can draw 2 cards, then you must discard 2, but if you think about it, you're untapping 3 lands. So you basically paid nothing for it, and it was a free instant that gave you an additional draw if you have Niv-Mizzet. So it's a very powerful card. Then, lastly, for the draw support, we have a Talon Winds. This is the most powerful instant in the deck, because you can discard your hand and draw that many cards. So, probably what's going to happen, and this can happen actually, I did this on a single turn with Is It Chemister. I was able to draw about 20 cards, and most of those stayed in my hand. And then just Talon Winds, you won the game right there. Basically, so it's a very powerful card indeed. And then next, for counters, we have Stroke, counter, negate, dissolve, rewind, cancel, and that is it for counters. And lastly, we have Fateful Showdown. Powerful card, you're going to deal damage to target creature player equal to the number of cards in your hand. Then you must discard all your hand, then draw that many cards. So it's one of your most powerful instants, which is why I just wanted to keep it back here. And lastly, Mission Briefing. Just give Surveil 2 and then choose an instant sorcery card in your graveyard. You may put that. You may cast this card. If you put it into graveyard, this card is exiled instead. Okay. Next, we have Mission Briefing. With Surveil 2, then choose an instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. You may cast that card this turn. If that card would be put into your graveyard this turn, exile it instead. So it's a very powerful instant. On to artifacts, we have, is it Signet? Is it Locket? Is it Keyrune? So all your is-its right there. That's really it. I'm joking. There's more. Then Firemine Vessel, Manalith, Mana Geode, and Spinning Lull. So if you're running How Come No Soul Ring, you could put it in here. No Arcane Signet, you could put it in here. But these are cheap, and the reason why I don't play Soul Ring, but you could, is because You want to see these before you see Soul Ring. I get that Soul Ring is 2 colorless mana, but that's the issue. It's 2 colorless. You're running a commander that wants you to pay colored mana, so you need to get as much colored mana ramp as you possibly can, which is why I suggest these. And you could put Arcane Signet in here, your choice. But this is just some of the best options to go with when it comes to artifact and mana bases. To enchantments, we have Opening Eye. Enchant creature whenever he deals damage to opponent, draw a card. Easy. Curiosity, whenever he deals damage, draw a card. Yeah, there's that. Jace's Sanctum, instant sorceries you cast cost 1 less, and whenever you cast one, you may scry. So, this will allow you to play cheaper instants and sorceries, scry 1, and be picky about Niv-Mizzet's draw, and then deal damage. Fire Mine Research is a powerful card. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery, you may put a counter on this, and you may tap a colorless and a blue, remove 2 charge counters, draw a card, deal 1. For a colorless and a red, remove 5 of them, and deal 5 damage to any target. So really, you can build it up to however you want to, it's your choice. But really, it doesn't matter, because you're getting draw power in the first place, and it's cheap, or you're just dealing damage, which is also cheap for that amount. Then we have Swarm of Intelligence, something you should run in the deck and highly recommend, because you're going to copy your instant or sorcery and choose new targets, so it just allows you to do more. And lastly, we have Miari Conjecture, because it just returns instant sorceries from your hand to graveyard to your hand, and then you are going to copy anything you cast when you reach 3, so it's just powerful in the end as an enchantment. For land bases, Evolving Wilds, Myriad Landscape, put it in Terramorphic Expanse, you're set. That's really all you need. And especially Myriad Landscape, because if you have more blue than red, this will get you your red. More red than blue, this will get you blue. Evolving Wild, standard, but like I said, you could throw a Terramorphic Expanse or whatever you want in here. But this is just really all you need. And we have Lonely Sandbar, Forgotten Cave, for your cycling lands. Tap lands include Is it Gilgate, Highland Lake, and Is it Boiler Works for your tap and bounce lands. That's really all you need. We have 18 islands in the deck, and mountain have 13 mountains, which makes a lot of sense because most of your instants and sorceries are blue, so you want to run more islands than mountains because you want to see the islands more, because it'll let you play out more. So that's why there's a big mana difference in colors, if you're just wondering why. So yeah, that is it for the lands. So yeah, that is it for Niv-Mizzet Parun. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see more after this, just let me know. I do have Ramos. I'm working on Aetherios right now. And if you want to see us do more battles with commanders, I will be working on that soon. My friend's currently on vacation right now, but by next week we should be having more content for you guys when it comes to battling using magic cards. And I'll get back to you guys on that. Let us know if you want to see any other commander decks, your choice. I will build them, or I will have one of my friends build them, and we'll fight them off if you want. Or just let me know what commander battles you want to see, and we'll do those. And that is all. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye.